Carnes was born in Los Angeles on July 20th, 1945, and during the 60s began writing songs for other artists while performing in local clubs and as a session vocalist. She signed her first publishing deal in 1962 with producer Jimmy Bowen. She grew up in Pasadena, California, and graduated from San Marino High School in 1963. In 1966, she joined the popular folk group the New Christy Minstrels for a time, later leaving along with husband/songwriting partner Dave Ellingson to form the duo Kim and Dave. Thanks in part to her folk music background, Carnes landed an acting role in the 1967 film Come On, Let's Live a Little, which was a folk-themed musical with a staunchy anti-radical viewpoint. During this period, she shared demo recording time with Bowen's other writers, including Don Henley, Glenn Frey, and J.D. Souther. In 1971, Carnes' song Sing Out for Jesus was recorded by blues legend Big Mama Thornton for the soundtrack of the film Vanishing Point, which also featured Kim and Dave's performance of the song Nobody Knows. This success landed Carnes a solo deal with Amos, the label on which the soundtrack had appeared. She recorded her first album, Rest on Me, in 1972, but it did nothing, and frustrated by the predominance of outside writers on the record, Carnes departed, eventually signing with A&M. Also in the early 1970s, Carnes and husband Dave Ellingson co-wrote several songs with David Cassidy, who was then at the peak of his career as an international idol. Cassidy's albums Rock Me Baby, Dreams Are Nothing More Than Wishes, and Cassidy Live included several songs penned by Carnes along with Ellingson and Cassidy. Her self-titled label debut was issued in 1975 and produced her first chart hit, the self-penned duet with Gene Cotton, You're a Part of Me. 1976's Sailing and 1979's St. Vincent's Court, her first album for EMI, also produced minor singles, but her big break came in 1980 when former New Christy Minstrel bandmate Kenny Rogers invited her to duet with him on Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer. The song was a hit, and the accompanying concept album Gideon featured nothing but Carnes and Ellingson compositions. Thanks to the exposure, Carnes scored her first solo top 10 hit later that year with a cover of The Miracles' More Love from her album Romance Dance. Carnes seemed poised for success and took extra pains with her next album, Mistaken Identity. One of the songs selected was Betty Davis Eyes, a tune co-written in 1974 with former folk rocker Jackie D. Shannon, who had appeared with Carnes in Come On, Let's Live a Little. Convinced to record this song with an atmospheric new arrangement, Carnes took Betty Davis Eyes to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 for 9 weeks, and it became the biggest hit of the year and later won Grammys for Song of the Year and Record of the Year. Despite this major breakthrough, Carnes found it difficult to follow her hit. The subsequent singles from Mistaken Identity failed to make even the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100. She scored minor hits with songs from her 1982 album and 1983's Cafe Racers. And in 1985, she became the first artist to be on the chart simultaneously with solo songs, Invitation to Dance, a duet with Barbra Streisand, Make No Mistake He's Mine, and with a trio with the song What About Me with Kenny Rogers and James Ingram. That same year, she scored her last top 20 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 with Crazy in the Night from Barking at Airplanes. 1986's Lighthouse flopped, and for 1988's View from the House, she returned to the folk and country music of her earlier years. Crazy in Love was released as the album's lead single, peaking at number 13 on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart. With the indifferent response to her continued singing career, Carnes began to concentrate more on her songwriting, still collaborating frequently with Ellingson. Carnes' 12th studio album, Checking Out the Ghost, was released exclusively in Japan in March 1991. Carnes recorded a cover of the Everly Brothers song Love Hurts for the soundtrack to the Japanese film Private Lessons 2. Later in 1991, Carnes recorded the single Hooked on the Memory of You as a duet with Neil Diamond for his album Lovescape. In 1993, Carnes released Gypsy Honeymoon, the best of Kim Carnes. She began to place more and more material with major country label artists and moved to Nashville in 1994 to be where the action was. Throughout the 90s, she continued to write songs for other artists, including The Heart Won't Lie, which became a U.S. country #1 hit for Reba McEntire and Vince Gill, and was nominated for Single of the Year at the TNN Music City News Country Awards in 1994. In 1997, Carnes co-wrote Just One Little Kiss with Greg Barnhill for Lila McCann's debut album, Lila. In 1997, Carnes recorded a cover of Bad Bad Leroy Brown for a tribute album to Jim Croce. Numerous country artists recorded Carnes songs in the late 90s and early 2000s, including Smokey's version of When the Walls Come Down for Wild Horses, the Nashville album, Tim McGraw's version of You Don't Love Me Anymore for A Place in the Sun, and Colin Ray's version of Gypsy Honeymoon for Can't Back Down. In June 2004, Carnes released her 13th and latest studio album, Chasing Wild Trains, featuring songs co-written with Kim Ritchie, Jeffrey Steele, Mark Jordan, Chuck Prophet, and many more. The same year, Carnes provided backing vocals for 2 tracks on Tim McGraw's album, Live Like You Were Dying. Throughout the 2000s, Carnes continued to write and record songs for movie soundtracks, including Ring of Fire with Jeff Bridges for The Contender, The Silver Cord for Loggerheads, and It's a Mighty Hand for Chances the Woman of Magdalene. In 2007, Kim Carnes recorded songs for tribute albums and collaborated with other artists. She continued her songwriting career with credits on various albums, but they were mainly lesser-known albums and less commercial. In 2012, some of her albums were reissued by an American label. She also appeared in a TV series in 2013. In 2015, she contributed to a compilation album with a cover of a Rolling Stones song. The following year, she featured on a duets album. In 2021, Carnes performed at a charity concert for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And as of the recording of this video in March 2024, Kim Carnes is still alive and well and has maintained a private life in the past few years. And that's what happened to Kim Carnes. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give me some facts about Kim that I failed to mention on this video, and let me know who I should do next on the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.